It's a pleasure to follow the Honourable Member for Brentford and Isleworth. And can I join others in congratulating my Honourable friend, the Member for Aberdeen South, and the other members that have secured this debate today. I really don't want to repeat some of the eloquent speeches that have been made here by other colleagues, but I think it is worth putting on record that this is not happening to a group of very high net worth individuals. This is happening to some very ordinary people. These are ordinary, hard-working people, and they are social workers, IT consultants, people in the everyday run of their lives. And quite frankly, if I was going to be cynical, I would say that the indictment of the HMRC, which the Honourable Lady was laying out for this chamber, is absolutely right, because I feel that these collection officials are cutting their teeth on a whole group of individuals that actually can't fight back. And this debate today shows how they can fight back, particularly when the voices of those people that aren't often heard are represented so well across the House. And indeed, I think the Honourable Member who chairs the APPG, actually, when he said it brings the House together, I think he's absolutely right. These are individuals. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give way, because there are a lot of people that want to speak, and the more I give way, the more their time gets reduced. I think what is really striking for me about this is that all these individuals actually made reasonable inquiries about what their tax liabilities were. They consulted professionals, they were offered advice. Indeed, the actions of HMRC almost reinforced that what they were doing was in fact a legal way of pursuing their employment. For some of our constituents, particularly, for example, those working in the banking industry, if, as a result of this, they're declared bankrupt, they will not even be able to legitimately pursue their careers and their means of earning a living, because they are specialists in that area and they'll be prohibited from working in the banking sector, and I think that is absolutely appalling. I do want to just refer to some of my constituents and what they have said to me to reinforce some of the points that have been made. Certainly one of my constituents used an umbrella company, and they assured him that he was doing nothing wrong, and that it was an HMRC-approved scheme. And when finally the bill landed on his desk, his umbrella company asked him to appeal, which he did. He received letters for other tax years apart from the year in question on which he appealed, but it was always at least 3 years after he sent in a tax return. In each case, HMRC only requested the tax that they say I owe after 3 years had passed. Another one said, I'm not a tax expert, and the policy left me extremely confused. I didn't know which way to turn. I was advised that I could use an arrangement that would ensure I was compliant with IR35, and my primary motive was to abide by the law. I was told that the tax arrangement was HMRC and QC approved. HMRC are now saying that these arrangements do not work, yet at the time they did nothing to curb them. They allowed me to build up years' worth of debt, signing off my tax returns, and on some occasions sending me a tax rebate. I simply don't have the sums of money involved. I'm not a wealthy person. I've worked hard and I've paid taxes. Over the 18 months, this situation has led me to anxiety, stress, and in some cases, suicidal thoughts. Because this person is a freelancer, he's had no holiday pay, sickness pay, maternity pay, compassionate leave, pension contributions, career development training, bonuses, and in many cases, certainly no job security. He's suffering from sleep deprivation, and of course, he's thinking that he can take out some sort of insurance that if he ended his life, it could secure his wife and children's future. That is a terrible thing to have to say about an individual. Another constituent said, I began receiving loans in late 2011. They were always very clearly disclosed to the HMRC within my annual self-assessment returns. And in mid-2012, HMRC reviewed the payroll arrangement and the loans provided to me and formally confirmed that they did not constitute tax avoidance. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, when you have HMRC giving that sort of reassurance to the taxpayers of the United Kingdom, you expect to be able to believe it. And no matter how much praise is heaped on the front bench and the Treasury Minister, with which I concur, the Treasury Minister is always polite, always replies, in fact is assiduous in dealing with my constituency correspondence, for which I am very grateful. I'm afraid I agree with the Right Honourable Member for Halton, Price and Howden, who is not in his place, who said that we cannot pursue anything before 2017, and I hope he will listen very carefully. I feel that HMRC has been trying to collect its taxes aggressively, but using what I consider to be a very tame audience in this case. I think they should direct their attentions towards the fraudsters and the mega companies, not just the JP Morgan schemes that are there, but the Googles and the Amazons and all the other companies, because in some instances our constituents are going to be asked to pay sums that are greater than a company like Amazon or Google has paid in tax years in this country. I have to say also that I consider that this has been used as a lost leader by HMRC because they have put so much into administration costs that they're almost caught that they cannot go back and abandon their pursuit of these individuals. I think they should do it, and certainly the Treasury bench now needs to pay attention to the will of this House and the fact that the anarchy of what has happened to our standing orders has resulted in us seeing this House taken over by people other than the government. And I think that there is a strength of feeling across the House, cross-party, that if there has to be some mechanism sought to try and get relief for our constituents, that is not something now which is beyond imagination.
Adrian Bailey.
Thank you.